Right, but I've got a blank screen.
Mm.
I've got a blank screen. Oh. There we go. Right.
I mean, we are live, I think.
The live button.
Oh. Yeah, we were live
Are we live now?
7 minutes ago. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything right now. I see the upcoming. So I think maybe we're live.
It's saying we're live. If we're live, we're live. Holy shit. Hang on.
Let's see. I think
YouTube's telling me we're live.
yeah, I think we're
Yeah, we're live.
live. Okay, hey.
We're live.
So
right, okay, we're
those
here.
other two
Okay.
don't count.
Jesus Christ.
back
I can't
to
show
it.
you because I'm sharing screens, but oh, I can do it there. Right, there. We're live, apparently. Apparently we're on. Oh man, I am burnt out the fuck.
Fucking technology, man. You gotta love it.
Hopefully we're not getting an echo because of fucking sound settings and all. This all went tits up at me last week. I had to reinstall everything and it's just arsing about and I'm getting burnt out with fucking live streams and having it's become work because I'm trying to organise the interviews and if people messing me about and turning up and not turning up and people ghosting me and then appearing like a day before going, we're still going live and I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
I hit the wall last week. I was ready to delete this whole channel and just go fuck it. Seriously, it's when it stops, you know, a point where it stops becoming fun. Yeah, I got really close to that stage just with balls and about with technology. The live streams, I'm trying to live stream gameplay and it's arsing up and I don't know what the hell happened. My modem stopped working for some reason and I don't know whether it's something I installed or the game or some random thing. It's not connection because I've tested all that. And I'm just like, why am I spending my time? This is like a day at work. Fucking arsed about with stupid shit. And email tennis back and forward and stuff. That's when it becomes, you know, a balls ache. It's like I try to keep things simple. I try to keep everybody informed. And yeah, when I start getting my balls busted, I'm like fucking ready to give up. But we're here anyway.
Yep.
we're online and I need to call up my show notes. Although there's not really much to talk about in this particular episode.
This was a movie, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm still having a really hard time deciding whether I like it. Which, I mean, I'm stupid, so that kind of happens sometimes. But this one was a different breed.
Yeah.
And of course, today we're going to be talking about Alex Garland's Men. Just recently came out for you guys. Came out for us a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a British movie, and they released it in America first.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting move. Very interesting move.
I think because hold on, I'm going to move your wee name up. Sorry about that. Yes, folks, I'm filling a book in while we're live. How professional is this? Jesus Christ, I'm embarrassed. Yeah, we'll not bother with the intro, we'll just dive straight in because I don't know if this stream's going to last or break or whatever else, so if you're with us, you're with us. If not, sorry. We tried. So, the premise of this movie, in the aftermath of a personal tragedy, Harper retreats alone to a beautiful English countryside, hoping to find a place to heal. However, someone or something from the surrounding woods appears to be stalking her. What begins as a simmering dread soon becomes fully formed nightmare, inhabited by our darkest memories and fears. Well, memory. Let's be honest here. It's one event.
Right.
It's
just keeps repeating and repeating and repeating.
And oh my god, I was bored at the end. It was like fucking. So it starts off okay. You know what I mean? She's arriving at the place. We've got it's coming to this nice country house that she's effectively Airbnb'd for a couple of weeks. character's a bit of a wooden plank. You know what I mean? Not really much inspiring.
You kind of get it, though. I mean, she did just go through a personal tragedy.
Yeah, which is your typical lover.
Personally, I think she got out of a fucking situation that could have been much worse, but that's just me. I'm the eternal optimist, I guess.
Yeah, fuck it. Even that whole thing just made, you know what I mean, just randomly happened. It was like, I don't know. Fucking... Mm-hmm. People shouldn't be together. You know what I mean? There's some people, like, if it hits that point, fucking just go. Be gone. Leave.
Right.
But for things to escalate that quickly at the you know, just weird. I think I know who this audience, what they're aiming the audience for, and probably why they didn't release it in the UK first. But you tell who the types will be cheering and whooping, and you see some of the news articles, you're like, whatever, man. If that's your thing, fucking have fun with it. But we'll have Harper. She's the main character. She's arriving in this country house. We meet Jeffrey. Probably not familiar, but there's a character called Tim Nice But Dim, played by a comedian Old Skit. And that's a what, rather, you know. And that's it. She just arrives in the house, told about the village. Mm-hmm. She rings her friend, shitty, angry American friend, because we need that in the movie, just because.
Everybody's got to have one.
Right? Yeah, gotta have your shitty American friend. It's a bit of a hobby. Gotta collect one.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, stick them on YouTube sometimes.
It's like, I feel like people should understand that not everybody can be Ari Aster or Darren Aronofsky. Some people just should be themselves, and that's kind of the feeling I got from this movie. Was like somebody trying to do Mother, and
Alex,
like Mother did.
Alex Garfield, he's a bit of a history with this. Ex Machina, I didn't mind, but it's a movie I've only watched once and never again, and that's always the acid test, isn't it? Mm. If you watch a movie and you can pick it up again, like during the week I watched RoboCop. Like, how old's that movie?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd buy that for $1 and I'm still laughing at it, you know. Mm-hmm. I can pick that movie up anytime, watch it. The Nightmare on Elm Street series, I can binge watch it until the guys come home. No bother.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But do you know what I mean? But Ex Machina, for example, I think I liked it, but I've never watched it again. So that kind of says something.
Yeah.
Annihilation was fucking... I was scratching my head at the end of that one. And it's the same formula as this. Starts off, your horror premise, and then at the end you're going, the fuck am I watching here? What's going on? What's the point?
Yeah.
And that seems to be his pattern. He doesn't know how to pay off movies or like finish off the plot. And the thing is with these guys, they're in the bubble, right? They've got the connections, so bring in somebody to help you or get advice. Why haven't these people got round table? Like, you know, I share my stuff. I was like, okay, here's a crazy idea. What do you all think? And I take advice, and that's me. I'm a nobody. But these guys have got connections and professional and teams and studios, and nobody proofreads work. That seems to be the pattern.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Like it seemed like there was so much build up for the ending, and then it just didn't quite pay off, and then they had an ending after the ending, which I feel like was wholly unnecessary.
Did he maybe go to the Jar Jar Abrams School of Mystery Boxes?
Yeah, it could have just ended that last scene of her in the place versus her friend showing up. That wasn't necessary. Yeah. Didn't add anything to it. And it's like you're already kind of like, what the fuck? This is how the movie ends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just talk to me about the plot. She arrives in this country house. She's rented it out. Her husband, they were splitting up. He decides to try and be Batman. Can leap it off balconies, and doing it in the rain in London doesn't quite work out. So he gets splatted. She needs to heal. Goes to this place. Starts off fine. She's walking around the countryside, taking the place in. Then she comes across an old abandoned railway line, and there's loads of them around the UK, and they've been turned into walkways and stuff. That tunnel she encounters, there's no way the tunnel was that long.
Yeah, that was fucking bizarre. It's like that's half the country.
Yeah. I was like, normally these tunnels, it's wide enough for a road, 2 cars, and country roads are very narrow in the UK. We have this thing in the UK called corners. I know you Americans aren't too familiar with them, but it's actually, cars actually are able to navigate around corners and stuff. Not just your straight lines going to intersections where somebody beeps a horn 2 miles away. Oh, I can't cope on a 4-lane fucking freeway. Beep, get out of my way. It's like, really? Anyway. Yeah, she starts singing and stuff into it. Because, yeah, why not? It actually worked. It was actually... I didn't mind that scene. It was actually quite cool. I'd do that shit.
I felt like it went on just a little bit too long.
Yeah, kind of dragged on a bit, but I would do that about, big spooky tunnel. I'd be like, hello. I have all sorts of...
Yeah, you do it once or twice, because why not? You're human.
Yeah. But the echo with it and stuff just was a bit... stretched out. It's not happening.
Well, it's like, I kept waiting for something else to come back at her. That's what it kept setting up with the whole... it taking longer and longer for the echo to come back. And then for it to just be somebody stands up and all she sees is a shape. It's like, come on, man. They should have said something and scared the fuck out of her before she saw the silhouette.
Yeah, I kind of jumped straight into it. For the build-up, for the length of this movie and stuff, there's a lot of wasted time. But yeah...
Well, it's like, I get it. They were going for ambiance more than anything else. But, again, it's just like, yeah, there's people that do that beautifully, masterfully. And then there's this movie.
Yeah. And you kind of wonder what stage... I was speaking to a director 2 weeks ago, independent director. He says he's there with the earphones and the screen, and they can literally play it back as it happens. And that's why there's so many retakes. They can actually play back the particular scene. Not, that's pre-production. So you kind of have an idea. If something's off or it doesn't seem right, there is that opportunity before getting into post-production, if that makes sense. They actually pick up things. So, I don't know. Obviously, they're all looking at it. And that's a problem with this echo chamber of these same type of people all blowing smoke up each other's arses, is there's no constructive criticism. And it's, obviously that's what's happening here, because how can nobody even look at this script and go, mate, that's not really working out here. Could you change a bit or pay it off?
Well, the thing is, it's like they're trying to go for an art film, but they're also trying to go for a solid narrative and a solid horror movie. And it's like those 3 things can go together, but it's like kind of choose your lane and stick in it, and it's going to land better.
Yeah, have a straight line, and then if there's elements come in, go for it. Keep it simple. I think these arty-farty types, because that's what they are. They're not trying to make a movie to succeed, to make money, or to have anything long-standing. They're arty-farty types making these gallery pieces, that only their bubble go and see, and for some reason there's money about. Well, I gave them money, so I'm as guilty as anybody. So, I suppose. But actually, when I went to the cinema, there was about maybe 15 people at most.
Damn.
Honestly, we're spread out. The people at the other end of my row, lady had to go to the loo and she apologised profusely for interrupting me. That's how polite. Because there's only 15 people, it's really obvious. And I'm right at the edge and it's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's no problem. And then it's because we didn't have our own row each, we were feeling as if we were cramped up.
That's funny. Yeah, we were in a fucking packed house. It was surprising. Didn't think it was going to be that full.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why it was released in America first, because I see this film getting ripped to shreds back here because it's already started. People are sick of just shite being put out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, there was a lot of excitement in the room, and towards the end, everybody just kind of walked out like, "God damn it!" So I don't think it was appreciated too much here either, and especially the humor. Like the humor, I mean, if you like British humor, it's fucking great. Like I was laughing my ass off, and so was my wife at the goofy little parts, but for the most part, this entire movie was just crickets the whole
it works if humor works in horror as to alleviate the tension, but I don't believe there was enough tension actually generated in this movie. That was the problem. You're almost like, come on, can we get on to it, please?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get a move along to it?
Well, it's like, and then it's a shame too, because the moments of actual tension, like, it was bothersome because it didn't just happen and then move on to the next scene. Like, it drug out to the point where it goes from being tense to being uncomfortable to being really fucking uncomfortable, and then back to holy shit. So it's like, with that, it was really successful. Like, the moment that always comes back to mind is the moment with the priest after she's had her meltdown in the church and is sitting next to him on outside. That went on for a minute, and that I feel like that landed real well.
I was disturbed after that, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah,
what the hell is this? And plus, people don't get on like that, so that's horror, you know what I mean? That is horror, as in, this bastard's a creepy fuck. The kid, and I'm saying kid because it was the same actor played, you know what I mean? That's the whole premise. It's man, but it's man, it's weird. The kid, and he lifts off the mask and he's got an adult face. And I'm like, oh, no, I mean, that really rattled me a bit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was weird.
But then, obviously, the vicar, fucking, like, he was a full-on creep. The hand on the leg bit, you know what I mean? He did that well, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that was really well done. But then the whole, did you give him a chance to apologise and stuff? And like, what the hell?
Right.
No one talks like that. So that's just purely, and that's why I'm saying this is generated for a certain type of audience, and that's what they're relying on, I think. Because you see like a few of the articles already, toxic masculinity, fucking blah 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 blah, and you're like, really? Is that the only thing you've got to say now about movies? Is to jump on the account to get the Twitter followers, you know what I mean, and not actually make movies? It's just jump on this bandwagon, and that's your marketing fucking campaigns now. Is that the way companies work?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but that's where you get apathy. That's why I've reached like complete apathy with certain franchises, because I'm fucked off with it. It's boring, it's predictable, and it's just shit. And it's actually taken away from, how about we try to make something decent that people will like? No. Let's jump on these fucking tropes and fucking headlines and just come up with the same shit, and then have the same people, because it's the same people argue, you know what I mean? These people aren't part of society. There's one that argue for and against. These people that spend their lives online fucking typing paragraphs at each other, they're not part of the real world. They're not me, they're not you. Like, we're the ones that go out and actually fucking go to the cinema. We're the ones that put our hands in our pocket, and we're the ones you're pissing off with this shit. And I know you're not even close to down the line yet, but eventually you'll reach that point, if this continues, and you're just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going anymore, not playing.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of shit to fucking get me to that point. I mean, I sat through, what was it? The fuck was the second Star Wars prequel? The Last Jedi? Yeah, I sat through that, Jesus. So I think I can sit through anything.
Oh, I came out feeling dirty off that movie. That's what really finished me off. I was already feeling, like, after the prequels, I was apathetic. I was like, nah. You know what I mean? Got a wee bit excited for Force Awakens, but still, I'm like, wonder where this is going. And then that was it. That was me done. And then they're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? They're calling fans names and fucking this and that and starting up that whole shit. Even before the movie actually, or the series actually released. So you've got companies now starting this shit before it even comes out. So it means they've no faith in their product. Because if that's the only way they're going to generate.
The problem is they're trying to nip it in the bud, like when people are being just dumb fucking trolls. And it's like, you can't acknowledge those people. It's like giving a homeless person change. You just fucking ignore them and pretend they don't exist, because they don't. They're not real people. You give them change that gives them power, and then they're just going to fucking clean to you every time they see you.
Yeah, you become a target.
Yeah.
And then
it's like,
you're empowering them, and it's just like, nah. Best way just to... And there's people, well, genuinely, that's all they do. They don't even watch... They don't read the books, they don't watch anything. They're just there to fucking stir the pot.
I don't blame them for not reading the books. The books are fucking terrible at this point.
You didn't like the High Republic?
Dude, we don't have enough time to fucking.
Yeah, this has become a completely different show. I'm just trying not to talk about this movie. If I'm honest, fucking.
See, okay, and that's the hard part, because I really did like this movie. I have conflicting feelings about it, because it was so strong throughout the bulk of it, and then the ending just kind of.
It was after the pub scene for me. That's what just the vicar scene kind of. It was cool. And you
that was
something else.
Fucked up.
The thing is, they alluded to the whole pagan, you know what I mean? A lot of British churches are built over pagan sites. You know what I mean? That was the way the church that it came over.
Yeah, I mean, that's just Christianity in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's
take the sacred sites and build on top of them.
Yeah, we're now doing this instead. So that's why you always have, like, a lot of the buildings, you have the Green Man. I can't remember, I couldn't find the reference to the other image, on the tabernacle, the thing, when you have the Green Man, that's the sign of fertility and spring. And I thought there was going to be some sort of play off of that. I thought it was going to be that she's come in just as spring's happening, and they were going to need her to birth another man. That's what I thought the plot was going to be.
Well, exactly. That's sort of why I like this. Seemed like it was going to be Mother, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no payoff whatsoever. The whole Underland thing, but
well, I mean, it was cool seeing the homeless guy, which we completely skipped over that part. When she's going through the stroll, like, the dude's like, hey, yeah, I mean, the pub, it's just 15 minutes down the road, 30 minutes back, and she decides she's gonna walk down, and that's, of course, she gets to the cave or the tunnel, and then that's when some dude just starts running at her, and come to find out it's some naked dude just stalking her. But like seeing his transformation into the Green Man, like, that was cool. And then the end happened.
Yeah,
I think that should be the subtitle of this movie. It should be Men, and then the end happened.
Yeah, because it was all building up. The fact that he was a real person, and the police actually caught him, so they didn't do the whole, I'm telling the truth, he was there. No, you're not, you're mad. That was refreshing.
Yeah.
This was only rated 15 in the UK, so seeing naked blokes run about with their bits out was like, whoa, that's not...
No, you can't say bits. The fucking show say Todger, and that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Oh, the Todger's wang is basically...
Yeah, I was laughing my ass off when I read that shit this morning. It's like, God, you fucking Brits, man. You guys, you're a level... Your levels above us, multiple levels with the fucking words. I love it.
Just love to have a laugh, you know what I mean? It's all about... it's an emotional, you know what I mean? I like to have a play, fun with the language. I mean, that's what about, your Todger, your Wang, your Dingleberries hanging down, you know what I mean? It's all just having fun. The whole innuendo thing as well. But, yeah, he's basically got it all laying out there. You know what I mean? When she turns around and takes the photo, he's fully naked. I thought, okay, that's okay. Get away with that. But then he's in the garden and it's all hanging out, and you're like, okay, right. I thought this was a 15 movie. Obviously, it was categorized because they're only out being 18. Because that's the whole point of being a 15, is it doesn't show the gore and full-on nudity. You know what I mean?
Really?
Just, 15 rating is just, just on the cusp.
Well, especially with that whole final act, dude. I don't know how the fuck it didn't get an 18 then.
Yeah,
because that was some gory shit. Like the gore effects in this, fucking love that shit.
And that's where I was surprised. I was expecting worse in a sense than what I got because of the rating. I thought, okay, it's going to be like really milquetoast, flash scenes off camera sort of gore, like the Candyman sequel reboot fucking thing that we talked about.
Dude, that movie was so goddamn good.
But because of the rating, they had to do all the stuff off screen.
Yeah, but this
is where the reverse. Do you know what I mean? Because of the rating, they couldn't do it all in your face. So because it wasn't an R-rated movie or 18 over here, they didn't do it fully in your face. Do you know what I'm saying? And all the kill scenes were like off. So that's what I was expecting with this movie. But then it went the other direction and like went right in your face. And I'm like,
it's very.
That's just the point I'm trying to make. You know what I mean? With the ratings, when you get a certain rating on a movie, you expect especially the lower rating. You know what I mean? Say for example, it was rated PG. You'd shit yourself, wouldn't you? You're bringing the family and the kids and stuff. Oh, we're gonna watch the new Marvel movie. Oh, what the fuck? That's a big flaccid fucking willy in the face.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for the rating, it should have been 18.
Yeah,
not that I care because I watched these movies when I was young, but it's still just funny. I just find it hilarious that they rated this and then they're just like whopping it in your face. I'm like, okay, we're going down that road.
Yeah,
let's do it. That's what I mean. There's so many elements in this, like you said, that was it all the ingredients of a really good movie, and he just arsed it up. Then she's going around. What else? Yeah, we'll talk about the vicar scene. He'd already arrested the bloke at that point. Vicar scene, and then she's carrying on. Her memories are flooding back and stuff, and stuff happened between that and the pub scene. I know stuff in the movie happened. I can't remember. There was stuff.
It was mostly that's the thing with this movie is a lot of it's just her trying to come to terms with what happened, because she was a real person and decided to go outside and look to see, I wonder if he's okay. And I can imagine that being fairly traumatizing, seeing your, now late husband all fucked up, smashed, ankles facing the wrong way, hands torn in half from the forearm. So I get it. She's fucked up, and that's what it is. It's a lot of hurt.
Unless you're complete psychopaths like us, you know what I mean? You would laugh at it, go,
Oh yeah, my phone would be full of pictures from that shit. Like, even if I'm crying, like, say it's a loved one, I'm still taking some fucking pictures so I can look at it later and go, you dumbass.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of it was. A lot of the, I guess, filler is her trying to come to terms with that. And essentially trying to re-find herself. Like in the very beginning of the movie, when she first gets to the Airbnb, the host is, like, oh yeah, and here's our piano. Do you play? Oh no, I don't play. And then cut back to scenes where she's playing beautifully because she had hobbies before she was married, and presumably when she got married, she had to stop being herself. So it is a lot of inner turmoil and conflict of trying to grieve but also trying to find herself again, and how that kind of fucks you up inside. So it's a lot of subtext that really, when you explain it, there's not much there, but it can fill up a movie and do a movie justice.
I think the problem is, if this was purely a psychological drama, that would make sense. But they're throwing it in, like, once the bloke gets arrested, we start seeing, you know what I mean? It's doing two things here. The whole is it real, isn't it real? And they're not doing it well. The two aren't mixing together.
Well, and that was definitely one problem I had, was it's sort of like, okay, what angle are they taking? Like, is this a paranormal thing? Is it a psychological thing and all that stuff? Because you don't really know. I mean, presumably all the men in the village are, descendants of the Green Man.
But we don't
But
know.
then there's like the element of the bird coming in, and it's like, where the fuck does that come in? And then you get the woman officer that doesn't look like anybody else.
And then she toddles off and disappears. And then the other police officer, that was a bit of it was the pub scene. And it was only a short scene, there was only a handful of people in it, but the pub scene's what took me out of this movie. I was actually on board until she went to the bar.
I thought it was funny because there were people that were like, oh, when she went to the bar. Like, how the fuck did you not realize before it's all the same man playing every fucking role? Like that, we got that in the goddamn trailer.
Yeah, but once again,
that was hilarious.
Because of the way they put this, is this her imagining? Is this her imposing on it, or is this actually the way it is? Do you know what I mean? That's and you don't get a payoff because it doesn't. We as the audience don't get that insight because it presents to us as is. So we don't know because it's saying it's real and then it's saying it's not. We don't know what's going on here. The pub scene. So, the police officer comes in because that's what happens. Somebody's naked running about and the police just hold them for a bit and let them go. That doesn't happen here in the UK because we have nationalised healthcare, and so in America, if you're
fucking communists,
I know we're awful, aren't we? But the fact is that the NHS has a duty. Then I have my own criticisms of the NHS, but at the same time, I've been your side of the pond. I've seen that you have social workers come at you to let you know it's okay, your health insurance is alright, and you're like, the fuck? We can keep treating you up to this moment and then we're going to throw you out. It's like, really? What is this? But if you're mentally ill, if you're showing
even stateside, like, we've got terrible healthcare. I mean, we've got great healthcare, but we don't have great healthcare for everybody. Like, even here, that dude wouldn't just be let go. Like, he'd be transferred to a fucking mental ward for at least 72 hours. Like, it wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, he's a fucking works.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen here either. So I think that's why it was released in America first, because here I'm sure people are like, what the fuck's going on? You would be held, a mental health nurse would actually come, they actually have them in the police stations, you know what I mean? So they have some professionals on board, because if somebody's showing self-harm, because this guy's cutting himself and sticking stuff inside him, and you know what I mean, running around naked, and they've no idea they ID him, you don't just throw that back out, you know what I mean? There's something seriously wrong there. So, first of all, until they establish his identity, you're held. And if they can't hold him under the 48 hours, you know, it's in committing a crime, well, indecent exposure, there's a crime. So you get charged with that for a start. Do you know what I mean? And then the concerns about mental health, so it would be, are you going to jail or are you getting institutionalised? You wouldn't just get let go.
Yeah.
That made no sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're pro-police, anti-police, or whatever, you know what I mean? It doesn't, you know what I mean? This is where I don't like the way the newspaper articles are trying to conflate this with the bullshit. Just judge a movie on its merits and accuracies, and this was completely inaccurate. Wouldn't happen. So when the police officer comes in and says, and you don't drinking on duty as well, I mean, I know it's country and stuff, but still, you don't drink on duty. So that whole idea of coming in, that was like a throwback from the 60s, but even the 60s didn't really do it. They took off a uniform, you know what I mean? It was the whole point of being on duty, being the representative, and then being off duty. Do you know what I mean? That was still a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, should better police officers, and they use.
Oh, you're breaking up. Dude, you're breaking up.
Okay. Yeah,
sorry, I got as far as you told me
I
had clans who are police
bars.
officers. Yep. Just it's one of these days. Technology. Yeah. So you've got clans that are police officers, so they don't turn up in uniform. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. Well, so like we have some that like use their police vehicle as a personal vehicle, so that's what they drive after hours. But you keeping the separation of the badge from the person, they can't just like park out front in front of the fucking tattoo shop. They have to park around back and hide their vehicle because, you know, you have to have that illusion of separation.
Mm-hmm. See, that's not a thing over here. The police vehicles go to the carpool. You don't. It's a whole, actually, it comes from Northern Ireland because police officers would be targeted. So I remember as well when I was in, you didn't hang your uniform in the washing line. That's why you had to have a tumble dryer. And it was one of those things. You don't, you know, you're given all the security briefings, and because of where this country's situated and the fact you've got the entire, like, fucking crazies from all over the world, being a police officer, you don't, you know, once you've finished duty, you change into civvies, and you don't show your uniform or anything. That's just the way this culture's been here. So him doing that, they're trying to like recreate the 60s, you know, old English countryside, but it's not like that, you know what I mean? And also, police over now are fucking idiots. They're all university students on gap years and stuff. They're actually, the idea of actual police officers anymore is gone. Our police service is a joke. So they're so far up their arse for the rules. Somebody would bubble them, you know what I mean? One of their own colleagues would bubble them just to climb up the ladders, become like a civil service. So just wouldn't happen, not in today's day and age. Yeah, in the pub as well, fucking angry man. What was that about?
Yeah, that didn't serve any fucking purpose. Like, all the other characters are understandable. This guy, it's like, was he gonna rob her? Was he going to rape her? Was he gonna do anything?
He was like a fucking snorting bull. He's sitting there with a beer mat going...
yeah.
It's like, what the That's when I completely lost it with the movie. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I thought that character was fucking pointless because it really didn't add anything. I mean, other than bringing back the caretaker, but there's no reason for that. Like, the caretaker is the caretaker of the fucking the cottage. Like, why wouldn't he just show up? Period.
Yeah. There was enough in the plot, you know what I mean, and the sinister undertone, and it not quite being explained what's going on to hold it. So that guy just being there served no purpose. Like,
well, honestly, like, I understood that everybody was the same character essentially, but if we could have just focused on just the caretaker a little bit more, because he was already creepy, like from the get-go, like watching her eat the apple and then fucking with her over
and that's
it.
What
like,
I'm trying to think. Was that the catalyst? Was it the eating the apple was the catalyst that targeted her, or was it or got into the tunnel and singing? We don't get in a horror movie. The reason the protagonist ends up running afoul is they've picked up the MacGuffin, they've said the words from the book that's a shouldn't, they've disturbed the tomb, they've incanted part of a rite, they're descendant of somebody that carried out some crime centuries, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. There's a reason why they become the target, because this thing's it's on the modern world, it's on the internet. People rent out this cottage, so we can't have every person that rents out the cottage fucking, you know, disappearing. It just doesn't work, you know. This isn't like the 1950s, but even then, it, you know, I mean, people notice. And the world of the internet, she's in constant communication, so it's not as if she didn't know. And it's not like they met, like, she's only 3 hours out of London, so the fact that she's in London, the Met would be there, it would bring attention to them. So these people have existed so far by being clever. So why would they act dumb now? So there's no logical reason unless she set something off, and we never get that payoff.
Yeah, I mean, it's alluded to like her pain and stuff and what she went through, but it's like, you look at a place like that, you got to imagine a lot of people that are going through some fucking shit are going to be like, Londoner, whatever, I'm going to go there.
London's a shithole. Just living in London's enough to make you fucking depressed and angry and full of pain. Honestly, I was there last year in central London. It's fucking shit. And I think they're down. I think they had them round. They were in View of the Shard anyway, so they're right in fucking central London, on the Thames. It was just that. If they're not full of coke just to fucking get through the day, then obviously that's, you know, that's just London's a horrible place. So yeah, that would be everybody that ever travelled out of London to get away from it for a bit. Would be for the pain and anguish and anger. So
That's
what
fair.
made her different? What did she do that triggered it off? And that's where it's annoying me about the movie, because there is the underlying tone of the pagan rites of rebirth and rejuvenation coming into spring. Was that it? Did they need her? Were they gonna have sex with her? Or just messing with her mind? Was it her mind? Because that ending scene, the extra ending scene made it as if she's just went nuts.
Yeah, and that's the shit that I don't get too, and that's part of the reason why I have an issue with like the second ending. Is she's just sitting there on the step like, fuck, this was some shit, and her friend shows up, and it's like we don't get the payoff of seeing the friend discover the bodies or anything.
Yeah,
like
was
that.
it Jeffrey? Did she just, after all this, was it using the unreliable narrator that she's narrating it all and it's all in her head, and she just fucking chopped Jeffrey up with an axe for no reason? We don't know.
Well, and yeah, it's like I want to see that. I want to see if this was in her head, if this was real, or what, because that's the thing with the friend is the grounding for reality. Anytime something happens and she's freaking out, she contacts her. So we have that throughout the story to keep some semblance of reality. Why wouldn't you pay that off at the end with showing, oh shit, this was real, or oh shit, this wasn't real? Because the friend is showing up. That is the point of the friend.
Yeah, it just left you hanging. There was just before that there, like after the pub scene, the movie just goes mental. That's just the guy just goes mental. Full on, the creatures start appearing. She gets a knife, she stabs one, and then it starts fucking. All the characters start appearing. The fucking birthing scene.
Well, I feel like we should go back even before that.
Yeah, go ahead.
When she first,
the
kid comes in, because ultimately, all the injuries that she does to, let's just assume it's one character.
Yeah.
It's all the same injuries that happen to her ex, and that's slowly revealed through everything until the ending. But yeah, that birthing shit, that was interesting.
The bit that got, and I'm like, okay, this is all leading somewhere, and that's where the whole Green Man, and then is she going to be a vessel for this? But the bit that really got me was she retreats into the bathroom, and the vicar appears, and she straight out asks him, "What the fuck are you? What do we get in return?" Like, I can't even remember what he said, but it was just like,
yeah,
he sniffs at her.
That pretty much.
I smell poontang. It's like, what the?
Yeah, that was just like, what the fuck, dude?
That was the moment the movie could have pulled itself back, brought me back in, we could have got some sort of payoff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Like, even though it's all the same character, there were different tones for each individual person that the character was playing. So for it to step out from that, it didn't really make too much sense for me.
Yeah, and that's where I'm thinking it's playing along the lines of a psychological drama. This is her breakdown. But we don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, what happened?
Yeah.
Really frustrating. Trying to think, what else did we talk about this movie?
Well, and then, I mean, we should probably talk about the ending, like the first ending. So it goes through, of course, every character being birthed from the character before, in different wacky ways, like vaginas just appear randomly. And then it ends with her husband coming out as the final birth.
And I knew it because it was a breech birth and it was coming out feet first. I'm like, that's going to be the husband. I just knew.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a surprise.
Yeah. Well, and I did love that because the ankle was broken. So as soon as the feet come out and the one goes, bleh, it's like, oh, that's gross. I like that. And then it just ends with him sitting on the couch next to her, completely fucking naked and mutilated. And then it's just sort of like, oh, I guess this is it. And then that was the end.
Yeah.
And then
what do you want? I want your love.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, come on, really? That's the message of this movie is that? Like, of all the things for him to say, like, that's so fucking stupid. Because then it's almost like trying to make him a sympathetic character when he's not. He was a shithead. He fucking beat her. She kicked him the fuck out, and then he killed himself.
Well, he didn't kill himself. That was the thing, because that got revealed. He broke into the upstairs apartment, and what his idea was to climb from the top balcony down to theirs, and he slipped. So it wasn't actually suicide.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but I mean that was the whole thing. Was like all the fight. Well, I'm gonna kill myself then. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself, and it's like that's not fair, man. You can't say that shit. And then he dies. But yeah, that was so stupid.
Yeah, he was a 2D character as well, which didn't help. Like, he was just a plot device. You know, there's not really much going there. As I said, it didn't really have much investment in the whole. Yeah, it was just played out, and that's why I think they're using the tropes, because it's not very well done. You don't need to tell anybody. If it's done properly and played out, then you get it. But the fact they have to explain and get newspaper articles to explain it, it's like, nah. And jump on the toxic masculinity fucking bandwagon, you know, just that's taken away as well from the message. You know, we've discussed this umpteen times. You know, if you beat people over the head and if you call people names, then guess what? Whatever message you're trying to bring forward is not going to happen. In fact, it's going to have the opposite effect.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was a weird one. Like, I came out and I was on came back, and my thoughts were initially disturbing and strange. They're my first thoughts, because I hadn't quite unpacked what I felt about it. I didn't leave excited after watching a good movie. I didn't leave thinking, oh, that was a cool idea.
See, I liked it initially. I mean, I liked the movie. I definitely want to watch it again. The aspect that I liked about it was I went with a group, so it was me, my wife, and then a couple of friends. And when we walked out, we had that discussion as soon as you walk out of the theater about it, and getting everybody's point of view. And this is the kind of movie that definitely lends itself to that, to each person kind of taking away something different. And that's what I like about cinema, is being able to, or really just entertainment in general, is being able to have a discussion with people about it and, seeing different views and stuff. But with this one, it like kept going. Like even after we left, on the drive home, my wife and I are sitting there discussing it, still kind of like, trying to wrap our heads around it. Even so much so that when we got home, it's still, trying to figure out what the fuck we watched. And then that even followed into the next morning, where we're still both like, fuck, I don't know what the fuck to think about this.
Yeah, because so there's no payoff. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. Like, it tries to have an open ending, but it's also, like, slamming the book shut. So it's really conflicting. And that's why this is the kind of movie where I have to see it twice to have a solid opinion on it. At least I feel I do. Yeah,
that's the problem with going to the cinema to see movies, is you get one shot, unless you're going to pay to go again. At least with VOD or DVD or Blu-ray, you can rewatch it there and then, or you can go back to a certain scene. And that's what makes actually reviewing movies like straight off the bat like this. Because I went to see it on Thursday, so there's a few days, and useful to actually mull things over, but still, it's not fresh in your mind.
Oh yeah, well, and shit, I saw it 2 weeks ago when it came out in the States. Yeah, so it definitely left an impression, so I remember it very well. But yeah, I definitely need to see it again, see if there's just something I missed. because again, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Like I fucking love movies. I love reading. I love all that stuff, but it's a struggle for me to focus and pay attention on them. So usually I have to do multiple viewings of something to fully grasp everything.
No, I'm the
And
same. But your depth of knowledge,
yeah,
though, is amazing. Like your depth of knowledge in movies and the actual behind the scenes and directors and what makes it happen is unreal.
I just have no life. That's really it. It's all useless shit up here. Nothing of importance.
I hear you. That. Yeah, and that's the worst when you don't know how you feel about a movie. I think that's what makes it worse. When you know how you feel and you have your reasons for feeling it, and then if somebody feels different and they have their reasons, but it's logical.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this movie kind of stopped. Just put the brakes on, stopped, and there was enough time to do it. I mean, there was more than enough time to actually tell the story because there was a lot of scenes that could have shortened to keep the atmosphere. The effects and the cinematography was not a problem.
No.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. I think that's what annoyed me more. It was actually a beautiful movie. The whole countryside, the effects that they used were subtly played. Even the tunnel scene, it was not trying to be, it was deliberately a mental gymnastic trick. So it worked. I wasn't annoyed by it. I just laughed briefly, like, yeah, the tunnel's not that size, but you kind of know stuff's going on in their head, so it worked.
Yeah.
Like even when the guy comes out, he looks as if he's tiny, so it was almost as if he would be running up, like being about 3 foot tall.
Yeah.
The way they did it at the start. So that was cool. In fact, I was expecting more of them. I was expecting there to be like a tribe or something. That's what the whole premise looked like. I was
that
expecting
would
it to
make
be like
sense.
a Wiccan cult or something, but there you go. I actually thought the purpose was that they were going to keep her, impregnate her, and then another man looking like Jeffrey and a different guise would pop out. I actually thought that was the goal of the movie because there's the
That
thing
would have
again.
made sense.
There was no goal. There was no goal for the antagonist. Even I forget the husband's name, but even he didn't have a goal. It wasn't like you killed me and was manifesting through this. He just appeared, So there's no payoff.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to watch this again.
Yeah, I'm not going to go see it in theaters again.
No.
I don't really think it's necessarily one that's necessary to see in theaters. It's beautiful, but if you got a good TV, then that's good enough. So this is probably one I'll wait until it's like in Redbox and I can rent it for $1 or $2. Because I definitely do want to see it again. I don't want to spend more than $3 or $4 to watch it again.
And that's how you tell as well why it didn't excite you but confused you, and you're only watching it again to fucking do an autopsy basically. It's just that's my only thing to go, what the hell? But he did this. The director, he did this with Annihilation as well. Start off, sort of good premise. Natalie Portman, she's a bit of a wooden plank, but still, she did alright in this movie. Great effects. There was a whole mystery to solve, but then he just didn't bother solving it.
That's